It's creating the live broadcast. We are live.
Facebook family, good morning. And I want to say good morning to my good cousin Moya in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who watches every week. Love you, Moya. Um, Facebook family, let me tell you, we feel so good. Susan, Andrea, who couldn't be here, she's doing something for her parents, Dr. Pitts. We just feel so good coming every week to you. Why? Because this is Pop On's Health or Community show for the week. And yes, we come every Monday morning. We start at 10. Let me start my watch here to give you health information. Why? Because when you know what things you need to be doing, then it will help you to either start having a healthy lifestyle, like I've started, and I know better, but it's never too late to restart, and so that you have enough health information that you can make really, really, really good healthcare decisions. And community information, just really, I want to keep you all up on what's going on in the community, and it's really good. And I am joined each week by my community partners, New Horizons Behavioral Health and Tree of Life Healthcare. These two organizations for years have labored in the community for you. They want to give you the best services. If you have no health insurance or not adequate enough health insurance, that's not an obstacle for them. They work things out. And so that's what attracted me to this organization. And they combined to form what's called integrative care. And so the integrative care is New Horizons, covers the gamut, pantheon of everything that deals with behavior, mental health and whatever, substance abuse, things that you're going to learn that they do that's really going to be a blessing to you. And Tree of Life Healthcare, the physical health. So it's a one-stop shop. And so I wanted to partner with them to bring you all the information that you need to have and that you really need to do. And it's a joy for me, being my age, I have the liberty, the resources, and the time to do way more than what my city council duties call for. And it makes my heart feel good. And we have a special guest. We always have a special guest each week. And our special guest is Miss Evelyn Roberts.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Evelyn Roberts, she's here. She's going to get some good information. And I'm always joined here by, everybody knows, the executive producer, the lady with the glasses, Miss Susan Gallagher. And we also know we're joined by Dr. Pitts. Dr. Pitts, you gave some really good information after the show on the DJ Chip morning broadcast show, which is marvelous information that you gave. And so I'm going to pass the baton to the lady with the glasses, Miss Susan Gallagher.
Good morning, Facebook family and friends. I'm wearing red today because February is Heart Health Awareness Month.
Wow.
Heart health awareness, and I want to remind everybody about the heart-brain connection. Stress can take a toll on your heart. It can cause high blood pressure. It can help build plaque in your lung, or plaque in your arteries. So make sure you have a healthy brain and a healthy mind, because it'll help you make sure you have a healthy heart too. So we've got a great show for you today. New Horizons is always here to meet your behavioral health and substance use disorder needs. If you need to call us, our number is 706-596-5500. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Pitts. Good morning, Dr. Pitts.
Good morning, Susan and Pops and Evelyn. It's good to be here. Happy February. Can't believe we're already here. I represent Tree of Life, Pastor Laurel Clyott, who could not be on today, and he expresses his regret for not being able to do so. But we're a faith-based organization offering medical services to those who are non-insured or underinsured. We're located at 1968 North Avenue, right across from the Columbus Research Institute and the parking lot of Piedmont Columbus Regional Hospital. Feel free to give us a call. Our number is 706-225-0355. And I just need to step away just for a moment just to help my folks, and then I'll be right back.
Dr.
So thank you. Good to be here.
Pitts. And our special guest is Miss Evelyn Robertson. Would you take a minute and just to tell our Facebook audience something about yourself?
Well, my name is Evelyn Roberts. I currently work at New Horizons Behavioral Health, and it'll actually be 5 years this month that
Wow.
I've been with this
Wow.
awesome company.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. I've loved my time here. I've worked in several different departments, and currently I am the director of the Emerge program, which is a first episode psychosis program. We work with individuals that are experiencing their first time being not diagnosed with a psychotic spectrum diagnosis, or have diagnoses that have psychotic features that tagged on to it. So we help with just pretty much, like I explained to the families and also to the individuals that we bring on, we're pretty much like a warm hug. We're all the service or most of the services that New Horizon provides under one umbrella, and just giving them support in their diagnosis. And also I'm a licensed master social worker, soon to be LCSW, which is clinical. Fingers crossed, coming up.
Hey. Go Evelyn, go Evelyn, go Evelyn, go Evelyn, go Evelyn. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And let me tell you, you can't get any better than a warm hug. Huh?
Yeah.
You can't get any better than that. You know, that's awesome. But that just goes to showcase. And Susan, one of the things that I want to do on our future shows, and when I finish with this, if we can just go through the list that we have from now until the end of the month. I think we filled up until March, I think. I appreciate it. But, you know, under the mantle of New Horizon provides and we are really going to showcase this here, because I want everyone to know what's available. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And you want to know something, when you provide the knowledge, where it's such a blessing. So I want New Horizons, I want Tree of Life, and I want myself to be a blessing to the community, and that's why we come on every week the way we do. And so, Susan, can you just give, like, next week and the following weeks, the program, so that our Facebook viewing audience, and we have a huge viewing audience. I got a call last week from Camden, New Jersey. It wasn't even off 5 minutes. I had a lady from Alaska. It's just huge viewing audience, because of my 5,000 Facebook friends, plus public, plus YouTube. It's just awesome, and I'm just so thankful for New Horizons, for Tree of Life, and that they have the time to partner with me and us to come on and give this good information. So the lady with the glasses, the executive producer of Pop's Health and Community Live Show, would you let them know? That tickles Evelyn every time I say that.
The second Monday of every month, we feature the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition. So next week, which would be the second Monday of the month, the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition is going to come on, and they're going to give us an overview of all the services they provide. And then on March 8th, they're going to talk about colorectal cancer. But they're going to give an overview of what the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition does, a little bit of the history of the organization, and what organizations they partner with. Then
and so just to interrupt you just for a minute, Susan, and there is a specific cancer for each month. And the reason I decided to do that is because I want people to know that C word, that cancer word. Back when I was growing up, they said, it's cancer. But you can't say, you say it's cancer now, because it's not a death sentence. And so I asked Ms. Cheryl Johnson, who is the director of the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition, to come on each second Monday of the month. So that's going to be year-round to do that. I'm sorry, Susan, but I wanted to let them know.
Well, you know, years ago, we did talk about cancer in hushed tones, and there was a big stigma around cancer. But now people are posting their chemo and radiation journeys, their cancer treatment journeys on Facebook. They're having big celebrations when they ring the bell at their last treatments. And we have increased survival rates from cancer leaps and bounds, because just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean it's going to go away.
That's
And by
exactly
talking
right.
about it and shining a light on it, we have research, we have scientists working on cures, we have people sharing their journeys so that others aren't afraid if they get a diagnosis also. They share their victories with everybody. So then the next Monday is Monday, February 15th, which is Valentine's. Well, it's the day, is it Valentine's Day the 14th? So it's the day after Valentine's Day. But we're having a Valentine's themed show where it's almost the opposite of love. We're going to have the Sexual Assault Support Center on, and they're going to talk about domestic violence and intimate partner violence, which we thought everybody focuses on love and caring during Valentine's Day. During February, we thought that we might shine a light on something that is still hidden and stigmatized, and that's intimate partner violence and domestic violence. And it's not just the person that perpetrates the violence and the person that's the victim of the violence. Their family and friends are affected by it also. So there's a ripple effect with domestic violence, and that's going to be our show on Monday, February 15th.
Well, thank you so much for going through that. And I'd like to say welcome to Dr. Xavier McCaskey, who's watching, and also Felix with Teresa, Frank, and family. Thank you for. And eventually I'm going to ask the lady with the glasses, the executive producer, to help me. I'm challenged. Everybody knows I am challenged when it comes to computers, how to answer you as you come on, or how we can fix this so you, Susan, and our guests, and Dr. Pitts and Andrea can see the chats and answer questions, because we do want to answer your questions timely. But if not, you can always contact me. My phone number is 706-442-0249. And my two email addresses are pops9784 at AOL.com or pops9784 @gmail.com. And Susan and Dr. Pitts gave theirs. And would you give yours, though, Evelyn, would you give your contact information, your phone number, your brick and mortar, where you're at, and whatever? Because all that good information and stuff that you got, that what could be better than a warm hug? All that good warm hug information. You want to know how they can reach you. So to tell them how they can reach you.
Oh, well, you can reach me. I'm at the main building with New Horizons at 2100 Comer Avenue. You can reach me just by calling the regular appointment line at 706-596-5500, or you can call a direct line, but only for if you meet the criteria, because if not, I'm unfortunately gonna have to refer you somewhere else. But that's still a good thing, because I'm referring you. And that number is 706-596, and then it's 5761.
Great.
So you can reach me there as well if you have somebody or know somebody, or if you are that somebody that is dealing with psychosis and you're in between the ages of 16 and 30.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Okay, so now you can start that marvelous slides that I know you have.
Okay. All right. So,
Great.
like I'm saying, my name is, well, I'll go back a little bit. Let me go back to a couple of slides, because I want people to see this. Because the topic that we're going to be discussing is what is self-harm and ways to practice self-love. Again, my name is Evelyn Roberts. I'm the program director of the MERGE program at New Horizons Behavioral Health. And the first question I just want to pose is, what is self-harm? And we're going to look at the definitions, the signs, and also the symptoms. So self-harm is defined as when you hurt yourself as a way of dealing with very difficult feelings, painful memories, or overwhelming situations and experiences. Why do some people self-harm? A lot of times, self-harm is, people think of self-harm as committing suicide or attempting to commit suicide, but it's very different from doing that. Self-harm in itself is a symptom of emotional pain that should be taken seriously, and it is also that somebody may be hurting themselves because they are experiencing feelings of increased risk of feeling suicidal. And also, someone could start to self-harm after suffering from a undiagnosed mental health diagnosis as well. Self-harm occurs in the teenage and young adult years. And a lot of times what happens during this year, it's what's called early onset year. So a lot of times the diagnosis that people get during this time, kind of like with my program's age range, that 16 to 30, the 16 to 18 ages are called early onset, and that's where sometimes a lot of the mental health diagnosis may become more prominent and may start to develop and manifest during that time. And as it says in here, it can also happen later in life. And then also those people who experience this are more at risk when they have experienced trauma, neglect, and abuse. A lot of times, yes.
Evelyn, my question is this here. You know that you mentioned specific ages. So you haven't mentioned anyone past the age of 40 or 50. Is there something in the literature that explains why that does not happen, or?
Oh, it does. And that's why it says that it can also happen in the later years. So
Okay.
the onset times are in between that 16 to 18, and kind of contracts, between that 16 to 30. But anybody that has experienced trauma, neglect, and abuse can develop habits of participating with self-harm.
I see. Thank you for that.
So it's not limited. Yeah, it's not limited to any age at all. Some people have described self-harm as a way to change emotional pain into physical pain. It helps them reduce overwhelming emotional feelings or thoughts. You can have a sense of being in control by doing that. Escape traumatic memories. They can use it as a way to express suicidal feelings and thoughts without taking their life. And then they also use it as a way to stop feeling numb or disconnect from the feelings that they're currently feeling.
Evelyn, this is Susan. What are some examples of things people do that are expressions of self-harm? I know we probably all have heard of cutting, but are there other things people do to express self-harm?
Yes, and that moves on to my next slide. So that question was right on time. But yes, so like you said, a lot of people, when they think of self-harm, they just mainly think of cutting. But self-harm is way more than that, as you can see on the slide. It is poisoning yourself, overeating, exercising excessively could be a form of self-harm, biting yourself, picking or scratching at your skin, burning, inserting objects that should not be in your body into your body, hitting yourself against walls, misusing alcohol, prescriptions, or recreational drugs, those illicit drugs, pulling your hair, having unsafe sex is also a form of self-harm, and then getting into fights where you know that you'll get hurt. So those are all ways that people express self-harm.
And Evelyn, all those things, that's interesting, because that pretty much covers a wide gamut of things. And and I've seen some children hitting their heads against a wall, I've even seen some, yeah, and I'm telling you, I've seen that a lot. I've even seen individuals, well, alcohol even, that's a way, that's another thing. So it's really interesting when you think about it, because the question that Susan asked, I thought it was just cutting or sticking themselves with pins, but it covers a whole gamut. And
Mm,
I see Dr. Pitts shaking her head, yes. And
Mhm.
so it's really, this is really all
yes,
encompassing.
because you remember, like I said before, when people are engaging in these acts, they're doing it as a way to kind of stop whatever feeling that they're feeling so that they can kind of feel better about themselves. A lot of times, it also gives them a kind of sense of euphoria. So if I'm feeling down and my mood is down and I'm feeling depressed and I feel like I don't want to be here anymore and I feel numb, then I'm going to do some type of something to help myself feel alive or feel connected to anything other than those feelings. So that's why you see things like this. And a lot of times these are outside of cutting or physically hurting yourself. A lot of times some people will miss the signs that someone is self-harming because they just see it as the cutting part and they're not looking at there's a deeper emotional thing going on with this person.
And
Evelyn, this is Susan. There's
go
there's a
ahead, Susan.
there's a catchphrase now about being in your feels. So
Yes,
self-harm is a way of avoiding being in your negative feels. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, yes. It kind of brings them out of it. It's kind of a way to kind of redirect the emotions to another place.
To a
Um,
physical pain instead of emotional pain.
yes,
And
exactly.
something that you said very interesting, Evelyn, is the fact it gives them some sense of control. And it
Yeah,
seems kind of strange, but I can understand that it gives them some sense of control. When you think about what uh, um, um, Susan just said, it gives them some sense of control over their feelings. And so that's, I can see where an individual will resort to something like this. Because I've often wondered about the pain and the sticking with pins and all, but I can see where this gives a person a redirection, as you said and as Susan said, and it gives them that sense of control to be able to do that.
yes. And then also when you think about trauma and what that does to somebody as well, with some people who may have experienced sexual abuse, they may feel like it's their fault. So the self-harm may be a way to punish themselves and be like, I let this happen to me, and then you start punishing yourself um, as a way to escape feelings of guilt as well. Mhm. Okay. So when we also are thinking about, we're thinking about what do we do when you have someone that self harms. So we're going to look at treatment options and also hopefully have some tips for increased self-esteem. So ways to help someone would be responding first with compassion, recognizing that self-harm is an attempt to cope with the painful feelings, and then offering support without judgment. That's very important when you are approaching somebody or trying to support somebody that is self-harming. And also, most importantly, too, to encourage them to seek treatment from professionals. A lot of times, we, like I said, we can overlook it when it doesn't look how we think it's supposed to look with just the cutting part. And if you see someone that has like frequent bruises and bandages on them, they may be wearing long sleeves and pants in hot weather, and trying to hide injuries and scarring. I know with younger females, what I've seen is if they've cut on their arm, a lot of times they'll switch to their inner thighs because they know that it's less likely that somebody's going to check there. And they can say, oh, I'm not cutting anymore. But then when you check them, they've been cutting other places that are not, they're more uncommon.
Noticeable.
Yes. So, encouraging them to seek treatment so that they can be able to learn better coping skills, have more control and less poor impulse control. And then also helping them to kind of deal with people and learning how to express themselves more. Because a lot of times people who go into those depressive moments, they often have time to expressing themselves or communicating what's going on with them. And also, we want to not try to make the person promise to stop, because it takes more than willpower to quit. And if you ask somebody to do that, especially when they don't have the skills to support what you're asking them to do, then you're setting them up for failure. And if they do fail at it, then that starts the engaging in the self-harm. So suggested treatment options are psychodynamic therapy. You have a question?
I was wondering if it's more prevalent among females or males, or is self-harm is equal between both genders?
Self-harm is definitely more prevalent in females. You see a lot of times that guys will commit suicide more than females because they kind of want that instant gratification. I'm just going to go ahead and get it over with. And females will be more likely to engage in the self-harm.
Good question, Susan.
Very good question. But psychodynamic therapy is a therapy that's used in treatment because it focuses on exploring past experiences and emotions. Cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on recognizing those negative thought patterns and increasing the coping skills. And then dialectical behavioral therapy can help a person learn positive coping methods as well. And sometimes these can be used interchangeably. Sometimes, some therapists like to just focus on one model to be able to assist with developing whatever thing is most prevalent. That's what they'll kind of focus on. Because if it's connected, if the self-harm is connected to trauma, a lot of times they'll do the psychodynamic therapy so they can process those past experiences and emotions. And then if it's more on, just having a hard time coping, then cognitive behavior therapy and then dialectical behavior therapy will be those two that people mostly go to. But sometimes you can use a combination of them because it's very important to identify self-harm triggers and also teach the individual how to avoid them when possible and reduce the self-harming behavior. And then also, teaching them things that could help them with self-soothing, teaching them just different ways to kind of cope with whatever they're dealing with.
And Evelyn, just to stop you for a minute and just to mention to our Facebook audience, that's why having information like this here is so important, that there are individuals who are trained in the various ways to handle situations. Because you want to know something? It's not a one blanket fits all. The very different therapies can be applied, and it's just comforting to hear what you're saying, to know that that there are trained personnel that can deal with a myriad of problems that individuals have by employing the various types of therapy and being cognizant of recognizing what types of therapy to use. And when I hear something like this here, I'm just so thankful that the citizens can know where to go and can see the level of professionalism in the two organizations. And I just wanted to interject that just now.
Thank you. Okay, so now we are moving towards self-love. And I found this quote. I don't know who said it, but I did find this quote. And it says, self-love is not selfish. You cannot truly love another until you know how to love yourself.
That's powerful.
It is very powerful. And I honestly, I believe it wholeheartedly. You know, with Valentine's Day coming up, it's easy for people to kind of get, you know, distracted by all of the commercials and, you know, K commercials and seeing all the relationship goals on Facebook and everything, and then for them to look at themselves and, you know, wonder like, why don't I have that? And then go into some self-loathing and then, you know, depression and everything. So it's important to you know, just connect with yourself and love yourself first. Because I know when I worked with Midtown Recovery with New Horizons, one of the things that I would tell the individuals there, because a lot of them would ask, well, why can't I date while I'm in treatment? And I would tell them, well, think of it this way. Think of it like a John Legend song. The words say, all of me loves all of you. So if you're not whole, how are you going to be able to connect with somebody else? And if they're not whole, how are they going to be able to connect with you? Because if both of y'all are halves and y'all are trying to connect to make a whole, then somebody's missing something. And when that person goes away, then you're left without that full self. So,
But
yeah.
Evelyn, that is super, 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 super awesome. Because first of all, that's one of my favorite songs, by the way. It's, people need to center in on, but you know, there's people, they listen to the lyrics and they listen to the music and they sway with the music or whatever like it. But you listen to the words, but what you just got finished saying is awesome with a capital A, capital W, capital E, capital SOME. It's awesome. If you would repeat, because you want to know something, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. And you want to know something, the average person, no matter how they're seeking love or affirmation or whatever, when you state that to them, it's like running into a brick wall. Anyone can see it clearly. So I would just like for you to repeat that, because trust me, everyone said Pop Barnes do this and that, but I've had instances among my children, grandchildren, that when you try to explain that, it's difficult. Try to get them to see that, it's difficult. And not only that, with relatives, with individuals in the community, when you see them going from one bad relationship to another. So please, would you just repeat that, because that is worth a ton of gold as far as advice. Would you just repeat that, please?
Yes. So, like I said, you have to think of love like a John Legend song when he says, all of me loves all of you. So if you only have half of you and you're joining with another half, when that person is gone, then you still are at a loss. So you have to work on being a whole person before you can join with another person, and practicing that self-love on yourself before you can practice it with somebody else.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, we can go on. That just look. That just gave me a shot of adrenaline. Just the wisdom of something like that. To use such simple terms, anyone could get that. Anyone gets the idea, and it hits them. Well, wait a minute. Yes, that makes sense. Let me slow down and make myself whole.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So another way that you can make yourself whole, or ways to bring self-love and then compassion into your life, is avoid labeling yourself. Like a lot of times we go through life with self-defeating labels that somebody may have given to us, or labels that we have given to ourselves. So it's imperative that we start working on putting positive labels on ourselves. Even doing something as simple as creating a mantra or an affirmation every day that you say. I watch a lot of movies and and listen to a lot of music and everything. So it makes me think of The Help when she said, "You is smart, you is kind, you is important."
Right.
So if you have to say that to yourself every morning to give yourself those labels rather than the negative labels that somebody has placed on you or that you have placed on yourself, then you have to do that in order to cultivate that self-love and then show compassion to yourself. Also, don't deprive yourself. If you're trying to do something difficult, like me, I'm in a PhD program right now, and it's very difficult. And for the first couple of years doing it, I would deprive myself. I would be like, okay, I got to write and do all this stuff. But then my mood would go down. When I would get critiques from my teachers, my mood would go down. So I had to say, okay, I'm going to work on these things, but I'm also going to put some time so that I can have some time to myself, so that I can visit with friends, so that I can do something with my kids, just to give myself some joy and some rest, and then go back at it, rather than just, trying to push it out when you don't have anything left. If your cup is empty, then you can't pour into somebody else. So you have to make sure that you're pouring back into yourself so that you can pour into others. Also listen to your gut and establish boundaries. If something doesn't feel right, listen to yourself and walk away with it. And also, don't be afraid to say no. Because if you're always saying yes to everyone, then that's, again, you're pouring out of your cup, and then your cup is empty and you can't pour into other people. And you don't have to left. Also, make your needs clear. A lot of people don't read minds. So when you need something, you have to find a way to say that, or you'll begin to develop unrealistic expectations for the people around you, and then also for yourself. So you have to make sure that you have your needs, make your needs very clear. Also, prioritize your health and happiness. A lot of times we get so busy with life that we forget that our insurance allows us to go to the doctor at least once a year for free, because we paid for it already. So it's important for us to, do those checkups. Go to the dentist, because a lot of people don't realize when you don't go to the dentist, that can start other health issues in your life too. And then you end up paying $1,400 for a root canal. So, and then that creates more stress. So take care of your health so that you don't put yourself in more at more risk of having stress over things that you probably could have avoided had you taken care of it before.
Right.
And also making peace with your past, letting go of the old hurts. If you can't do it on your own, find somebody that can help you. New Horizons has lots of counselors. You can always come to us, and if we can't help you, we can refer you somewhere. Somebody that can help.
And Evelyn, that's a biggie. I see that a lot in the community. That's a biggie, and I'm glad that you have that on your list.
Yes, you have to, because a lot of times, again, I listen to a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give you a nugget from Joel Osteen. A lot of times he said that when you're driving in the car, your front window is bigger than your back window, and that's because what's in front of you is more important than what's behind you.
You are blowing me away. You are blowing me away with all this wisdom that you've got there. Because let me tell you something. I don't know how many times I tell people, I wish I could. Many times in my life, I went to the left when I should have gone to the right, or went to the right instead of going to the left. And you have to learn. It took me a while to learn. Look, Make peace
Yes.
with yourself. You made the wrong mistake, but guess what? It is another day.
Mm-hmm.
It is another day. The good thing is that you can always restart. And when I tell people that, they say, well, you're right. I said, well, just think it. You can restart. And so I'm telling you, blowing me away with all this wisdom that you got here, but you're giving it out to our audience, and it's such a blessing. I couldn't let you, I had to interrupt you. You're just knocking me over with all this wisdom, these little short sayings that people can identify with, and you don't have to read a volume of a book. All you gotta do is listen, something that's short, sweet, and important, and that's what
Yes.
you're giving out.
Mm-hmm. And then also make sure that you are never alone. Know that you are never alone, because a lot of times we have people who think that they don't have support and will say that they don't have support. And then a lot of times it's that they have not asked for help because
That's
they
right.
feel that people are going to be looking at them or saying, are looking at them negatively. But know that you are not alone, and know that if you do get into those moments where you do feel alone, there are lots of agencies in Columbus. And if you're watching and you're not from Columbus, get familiar with your local CSB or your local mental health agencies, so that when you do need the help, that you can reach out to it. And if you can't find it, look up. It's something as simple as Googling, so that you can be able to connect with whatever services or whatever support that you have. And most importantly, what you need to do is just believe that you are worth every breath in your body. Ooh. And find reasons why daily. If you have to stick them up, post it.
You're going to have me shouting like in church, because you want to know something that is really, a lot of people have trouble of looking at themselves and knowing that they are worthy every day that the good Lord gives you. And there's a pastor I watch, Shepherd's Chapel. He says every day that the Lord gives you is a good day, no matter. And I'm giving attribution to Shepherd's Chapel. I'm going there and I watch them on TV. Every day is a good day, the pastor says, no matter what's going on. Mm-hmm. And look in the mirror. So many people, Evelyn, they look in the mirror and they allow circumstances to distort the person that they actually are. They allow circumstances, or the circumstance that they're in, not realizing. And I try to share this to a lot of people. I said, I'm in my 70s, over 70. And trust me, I can look back at myself and say, that's not going to be a good outcome for him. And look at me now, because the good Lord has sent people into my life. My wife being at the top of the list. Every child that was born to me has been a blessing. People came from nowhere. I'm looking at a gentleman just came on just now, Pledge Hardaway, was sending me daily prayers. Byron Hickey sends me daily scripture verses. My cousin Moyer sends me scripture verses. I'm blessed. But you've got to realize that really realize that no matter what you are going through, it's a blessing. And I'm going to, before the end of the show, I'm going to read off some names of individuals who are making really good comments on this. My nephew in California, John Fox, my niece Mustang Sally, that's what she calls herself, Marcia Berlin, that's the nutritionist that we're going to be talking about, is coming on the show. This, Evelyn, you have hit, but if you were on Jeopardy, I was going to say, end of the game, you won. I'm sorry, other contestants, that's it. You got too many points up here right now. You're doing an excellent job. And so I'm going to stop interrupting you, but I'm getting all these things, likes and stuff, and Susan, lady with the glasses, we're going to have to find a way where we can start making comments. So if you can ask Randall how we can do that, how he can educate this old gray-haired guy how to do something like that. You want to know something, young lady? Let me tell you something. You have given out so much wisdom and have pushed the buttons of so many individuals. You see how I'm acting, though. Let me go run and get my high blood pressure pill and take that. Now, Dr. Vince, I might have to call you. The blood pressure pill don't work now because she got me all worked up with all this good information.
No, you be careful about it. But it is true with the information that that you've given, Evelyn. One thing to remember is that, and I think we mentioned this on one of the previous shows, balance is key. And just as Pops, you know, you have a support system with your wife and other members of your family, whether it be church or otherwise. And it takes a village, not just regarding children, but as a whole. And for people to recognize some of those points that you listed, Evelyn, it requires that you at least have some level of balance within yourself to be able to do that. But unfortunately, in our community, there are so many who do not have that. They don't have a support system. They don't feel like they have someone who can reach out to them. And so it's important for us to be able to reach out to those folks out there. And what comes to mind, just, you know, with the homeless population. And
Right.
I'm sure you all have a large segment of people that you help, but there are a lot of those folks who will not seek help, you know, so it's a matter of going out to reach them. And again, having the balance that that they need. But those affirmations, they're great. But for a lot of those folks, they're not giving themselves affirmations every morning because of just what society and the social justice or injustice that has been, you know, placed on them as a whole. Just, you know, it's difficult. So we have to make more of an effort to reach out
Exactly.
to our neighbors. We may not see the cutting stated earlier, but it's certainly things are being manifested in other areas, in other ways where they might be harming themselves. And so we just always have to be mindful that, yes, we have our well-being, but there's so many more out there who don't. And we just have to make more of an effort to reach out to those people so that the balance that we have, it can be shared, and there are ways to do that.
Yeah, and it's
So just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and it's especially important now because, you know, we do have, the world has changed within the last year, and it's still changing now with people dealing with COVID, dealing with being more isolated, even having kids being more isolated than usual with virtual school and everything. So we have a lot of people who are maybe suffering in silence right now and may need, you know, somebody to, like you said, to reach out to them, to offer them that support so that they can be able to, you know, just thrive during this time and not get into the modes where they do pick up the habits of self-harming or even, you know, harming the children or other people that are in the home. So it's very important, especially during this time, that we talk about things like this because people are more secluded. So it's, as we would see people out and about and would notice things more, with everybody being more in their homes and some people still sheltering in place for whatever reason, you know, it's less likely that some people will be seen, and more likely that things can be missed because of this.
That's exactly right. Exactly. I'm looking at my nephew, Johnny from Sacramento. He's making some really good comments. You know, this show, really is just off the chain, and it just only illustrates the fact that the time that we spend. I'm talking about Susan Gallagher, New Horizons, Miss Andrea Wisdom is CEO and director, and also Reverend Dr. Lowell Client at Tree of Life Healthcare. These two organizations I chose, why I watched for a long time. In fact, I was the RN supervisor of the New Horizons Outpatient Clinic for many years. One of the best bosses I had was Miss Andrea Winston. But it showed me when I worked there that organization was not caring about those dead presidents coming in. The same thing with the Tree of Life Healthcare. They were interested in helping you, and you can see all the information that Evelyn gave. And so actually 2 years ago, I wanted to do this program, and it just through things I didn't get an opportunity. But there was no doubt in my mind the organization that I wanted to partner with on that will bring all this information to you every Monday. You will be able to know. We try to do it like clockwork at 10. I'm going to start adding some things. I'm very concerned, and the West Central Georgia Cancer Coalition has done so much. My biggest thing, I've had relatives die from cancer. Johnny's mother, my sister, she was more than a sister. She was my forever, even now, the best friend that I ever had, the best mentor, the person that would tell me when I was bouncing off the wall, acting crazy. She told me to her face, I love you, but you need to change. When you have individuals like that, and they stay with you, and I love my sister every day. Is not a single day I don't think about her. And so one of the things I'm going to add, cancer. I'm going to have a presentation on cancer every second Monday. But I'm going to also ask Ms. Cheryl Johnson to come in and let her know, you see, these organizations, New Horizons, Tree of Life, they cannot help you unless you help them. Pop Lines, how can you help them? You can help them. Everybody has time. You can volunteer. When you volunteer, you help to save them money. Also, I tell people, remember the story in the Bible of the widow's mite and how powerful the little bit of money that she gave, just how valued that was. So 5 cents, 25 cents, 30 cents, they add to dollars. $1 adds to $10, $10 adds to 20. All these programs here that have been for years doing, you're hearing it now, out there for years, there for you with your own, as Evelyn said, like a warm blanket. Boy, when I get just that word, I start to feel all warm just thinking about how warm a warm blanket is. And so they're like a warm blanket, both of those organizations. So we got to keep them helping the community. And so I'm going to have them ask. And then besides cancer, the big push now, and one of his legacies that he wants to do is health. The city did a study, and it went from Louisiana all the way through to Florida, and a big swath was right here in our area here: diabetes, hypertension, mental illness, all types of problems. And so the lady with the glasses on a lot of committees that I'm on, one of them is the Area on Aging, River Valley Regional Commission, Area on Aging, Senior Hunger. Hunger in this community is awesome. There's so many people, and the pandemic has made it worse. The gentleman who does Meals on Wheels, he's struggling. He needs volunteers that will do it. My wife and I did it, and as soon as we get our second shot, we're going to do it again because COVID sees all this gray. They said, "Oh, look at that man with that gray hair. We know we can take him down, and I don't want them. They'll take me down before I have them take my wife down. So we're going to get our second shot in 3 weeks." And what we're doing, we're partnering with a number of organizations. Well, a lady contacted me, Marcia Berlin. She's a nutritionist. And one of the things that we found out in this study that many people in this community are living in food deserts. In other words, they're in places where they have a Dollar General. And I'm not putting Dollar General down because the Barnes family loves the Dollar General. or some of the stores, fast food places where they can buy food. They're limited by transportation, and they have to go, well, we need to have a nutritionist to show exactly how you can take those cans of peas or whatever, wash them off to get rid of that monosodium glutamate and all of that. And there are ways that you can eat that if your economy dictates. And there are many people in this community. So I'm going to talk to her. I talked to her over the phone, but I'm going to suggest her coming on. I'm going to do a pre-show, started at maybe 09:55 or 09:50, that will deal specifically with a number of subjects, cancer being one, the other being nutrition, the state of food insecurity, which is rampant nationally and definitely rampant in this in this area. And so I want to say to everyone here, I want to say to Evelyn, you knocked it out the park. That bad boy information is still up in the air. And I like to always thank, and Dr. Pitts, I would like for you to give all the contact information for Tree of Life, where you and other physicians and other allied health professionals are providing care, where they can reach you, how they can reach you.
Sure, yes. Again, Tree of Life Health Care Clinic, we're located at 1968 North Avenue, which is right across from the Columbus Research Institute, and also, logistically, just the parking lot of the Columbus Regional as well. And our number is 706-225-0355. Call us. Our hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. We have our clinic on every second Saturday of the month. Actually, sometimes it's the second or third Saturday of the month, but give us a call and we can certainly, give you more information. And we, serve those who have no insurance or who are underinsured. So please feel free to check out our organization.
And the lady with the glasses, where can they
blue
contact
glasses.
you? That's it, where they can contact you and Evelyn and all the good people that work at New Horizons.
Right. Our main appointment line at New Horizons is 706-596-5500. You can ask about our telehealth options. We're providing telemedicine during the COVID pandemic. If you or someone you love may be displaying signs of self-harm, you saw that great list that Evelyn provided, call us. We can help. We provide the evidence-based interventions that can help somebody that is experiencing self-harm. We're here to help. New Horizons Behavioral Health, 706-596-5500.
And please, community, just keep in mind, please, what I said. They're helping you. But in order to continue helping them helping you, you have to help them. A nickel, quarter, when someone says no amount is too small, I tell you, think about the widow's mite, the scripture. I'd like to thank Phyllis Tilley, Felix, Pledge Hardaway, Marsha Berlin, Mustang Sally, Johnny Fox, my nephew, for the kind comments. And we have to come up, the lady with the glasses, the executive producer, how we can start answering while we're talking, answering some of these. And we will tell everybody to call us. Dr. Nikita Pitts gave the contact information to Tree of Life. Lady with the glasses, the executive producer, gave contact for New Horizons. Everybody knows my phone number. I've given that. Call us. Of course, we're all about what? Loving you and helping you and your loved ones. And until next time, what I always say, please be good and kind to yourself. And you heard Evelyn say it. Now, I say it every week. So you heard Evelyn. I say this every week, but you heard Evelyn come on and talk about my man John Legend. I just love him singing. And that what she said, I'm going to have to coin that term. Please be good and kind to yourself because God loves you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you
Bye,
next Monday.
friends and family. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now see if I can navigate this button here, y'all. You know how challenged I am.
Great show,
to do this.
everybody. Great show.
And it says to end live show. I click on this end.
And I'm sorry,
And Susan,
what was your title there? I missed it. I'm sorry. At New Horizons?
I'm the program director for the Emerge program.
Okay. All right. Well, it was good meeting you.
Good meeting. I think we're still live though.
Yes, we're still live. We are still
Bye-bye,
live.
y'all.